Hey, what up, everybody? This is the Enough Said podcast. We are actually doing 2 weeks in a row here. We had to after the NFL draft. So, welcome, everybody. We are in season 2, episode 6. And this week, I think it's the first time we haven't had actually a guest in a while, guys. So, it is just like the normal crew this week. So let's get right to it. We have the normal suspects. We'll start with this guy. His voice is gone because he was screaming at the TV during the NFL draft show. It's all because he thought the 49ers were going to trade Debo. Say hi to Mike, everybody. What's up, Mike?
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing?
All right. All right, this next guy, he likes when Howie picks centers in the second round who can throw shot put, and he opens his mouth. And he thinks Jordan Maiola is the second coming of Willie Ralph. Say hi to Jermaine, everybody.
Hey, Willie, what's up, Jermaine?
What's going on, guys?
He's the best offensive lineman of all time.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
What's up, everybody?
That's all right. This last guy, after the Eagles draft, he is on a high, and he thinks those stink bugs are a bunch of evil spies. I just made that up now right away. Say hi to Trey, everybody.
Hey, what's up? What's up? Yeah.
I had another thing for Trey, but I had to throw it in after that one.
Yeah.
For those of you guys who don't know, we had this like pregame show here, and we record, and that just came up, so I had to kind of make that one up on the fly.
Yeah. You're crazy.
Man,
Yeah.
watch out for this evil stink bugs. I'm telling you. You know,
evil stink bugs.
Spies from China. All right, guys. Well, nothing went on in the NFL this week, right? Nothing happened. You know, Eagles didn't do anything in the draft, and it was boring. You know, nothing. But let's get right to it. Let's start with. We got to start with the Eagles, right? So we'll just go around real quick. We'll start with Andre. Quick grades here. Howie, did he change your mind, guys? Am I like going to be done with the Eagles, or did Howie redeem himself, or Dre? What happened?
Well, hold on. Let's start off right there. I mean, you're the one that you want Howie's neck. You know, you want his head on a platter. So you tell me what you thought about it, since you think Howie's just he don't know what the hell he's doing. You tell me.
I do like the first round. I will give him that. I'm not gonna. I think he reached in the second round. The third, the other, I mean, he had 10 picks. He ended up with 5. So a lot of that obviously went towards the A.J. Brown, right? But I think he reached with the center in the second round a little bit. The linebacker in the third round, if he comes back and he's healthy, he does have potential. I mean, the last 2 picks, in my opinion, were crap. That linebacker, and then obviously the tight end who had a concussion history. He retired. He became a firefighter. I mean, this is like Danny Watkins part 2. You know, I don't want to deal with that. So I think he had a good first round. I think the other rounds are kind of up in the air. I mean, people will argue and say, look, he got a proven player in A.J. Brown, and maybe he did. We'll see how he comes back from injury. But, like I tell you guys, I got to take the field. It is hard to say this early, but did he do anything that made me change my mind about him? No, I don't think so.
So I felt actually it was a very good draft. I think, good drafts that Philadelphia hasn't had in a while. I was talking about Jordan Davis from our last podcast. I would be one of the 2 for the first pick, and there it was. He looks like a monster, a beast. There's something that we can do, possibly replace Fletcher Cox. I also liked the A.J. Brown thing, and speaking to that, Jermaine, when I said he's an ideal player, right? No, real deal. I said real deal player. He's been in the league 3 years. Sal, he only was injured last year, first time being injured. He still put up 800 something yards and 5 TDs, but the last 3 years he's got 18 touchdowns and over 2,000 yards. 1,000 his first rookie, 1,020 or 1,050 his rookie year, 1,070 his second year. So Jermaine, I think he's the number 1 wide receiver now that we have. So give me a definition of real deal. I mean, to me, that's what I mean when I said real deal. The other pick, and probably Jermaine and Sal and Mike Cam Jurgens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that his name? You know
Yep.
that he was already picked, right, before the draft. He came to Philadelphia. They already interviewed him, and Kelsey was actually the one that helped do that pick.
Yep.
So I think that right there tells you right there what Philadelphia already had set in stone what they wanted to do and getting Cam. The other two picks, quarterback, and then the guy you said that tight end. I don't know. I mean, it's just filler to me. So overall, I think they're the best draft they had in about maybe 3 years. So yeah, Jermaine, what you saying about the real deal?
Yeah, back to what you were saying with the real deal is, I think I would agree with you when you first put out there the ideal person for this team. So not the real deal. Yeah, see how everything plays out when he gets on the field, just like what Sal was saying. But at the same time, I think he's the ideal person for this team right now. Jalen Hurts has a subpar arm and whatnot. So if he does throw it out there, at least you got a 50-50 chance with AJ Brown going up and getting that 50-50 ball. But I think it's going to make Devontae Smith a lot better. I'm really not really sold on him being the number one receiver. I think Devontae Smith is going to be that number one receiver. It's just my opinion, but the reason why Devontae Smith is going to be number it's because AJ Brown is going to make him a better person. He's not a real speedster, you know what I mean, but he is a big boy, and like I said, that 50-50 throw, he's definitely going to go ahead and get, but yeah, that offense is a lot better, but back to what Sal was saying with how he was reaching with that second round pick, Cam Jurgens. And just like what you said, Dre, is that Howie, it wasn't all Howie that picked that man. It was Jason Kelsey. Basically, Jurgensen's probably going to just sit the bench, ride the bench, and just reap, or being taught by what Jason Kelsey can do, and I believe he probably has another year, maybe two, but he can move over to guard. They said, if need be, just in case Landon Dickerson with his glass knees may, crumble or whatever. So, but yeah, it's a work in progress. But you're probably going to need. He's have athleticism, he's a little bigger than Jason Kelsey. What they saying, he ran a 40, I think a 4.9 in the 40 and stuff. So, he's a work in progress, and by the time I believe that Jason Kelsey, because you're getting a good teacher with Jason Kelsey, I believe that he's going to be all right. He's going to be okay, but at the same time, what Sal always says, it just remains to be seen. Overall, with the draft, everybody's giving the Philadelphia Eagles an A. I give them a high B plus. Jordan Davis, yes, he's a run stuffer and all that stuff, but hopefully he has an upside in the pass rush, so yeah, that's my biggest concern. Not my biggest concern, but I still say he's going to be a good player. As far as Nakobe Dean, there's rumors going around with his shoulder and all that stuff and whatnot. We'll see. He said he's good. We'll see. He dropped. He was supposed to be the first linebacker that came off the board, and he dropped all the way down to third. So I feel as though shoulder and no shoulder, I feel as though they got a good value. You know what I mean? In that third, with that third pick. So. The other two are just, like you said, the other two are just fillers,
And then about Dean, they kept asking that question. I'm going to see they at the press conference, the media kept asking Howie and Nick Sirianni, and they were like, "Look, we went through it over and over again with our doctors and stuff and everything. There's nothing saying that he needs surgery. He can play." And even Dean talked to himself. He was like, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. There's nothing wrong. He said, "I'm just ready to work. I'm happy to be a Philadelphia Eagle." So we needed linebacker. Yeah, we needed a linebacker, and I think that was a good pick.
That man is all over the place. I mean, the way you see the film and all that stuff, and I think a lot of it's got to do with Jordan Davis. I mean, you swallow up 3 linemen You know what I mean? No wonder he's all over the place. That's just crazy. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
but yeah, I give them a B plus. That's just me.
Mhm.
B plus, low A, and whatnot. So, like I said, let's get this party rolling now. I mean, you got your wide receiver. It's no excuse for Jalen.
I didn't get my
Mhm.
grade, so I would say A minus.
All right. Mike, what do you got, man? What do you think? Eagles did okay? What do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah, definitely. So, I think it's more of a probably like an A minus. Um, I think getting AJ Brown was fixing an immediate need. I think that's kind of with the draft for certain teams. You got some teams that are really in a position that they got good depth already, and so the draft is just adding to that. And then if you can, fill an immediate need just to make it a little bit better, and I think that's where AJ Brown comes in. I think Jordan Davis could start immediately. I think some of the other picks you got, are looking a little more down the line, but you had a good team. You just need to make it a better team. And so, yeah, I think overall, I thought Howie did pretty good.
Yeah, that's a great point. When you come out of the draft, you always want to say, "Are we better than we were before?" And I mean, yeah, right now it's hard to say. I mean, it looks better on paper, but again, will these guys get out there and they play? Sticking with that, Mike, we'll stick with you here. The 49ers, you happy with what they did as well?
Yeah, I was pretty happy with them. Like I was just saying, it's a little bit about, I guess, an embarrassment of riches, you could say. You already have a pretty good team with a lot of depth, so whoever you pick up, you're just adding on more to that. But they're kind of coming into a good situation, don't have a lot of high expectations to start right away or to be a savior of the team, kind of thing, like with some other these other draft picks. So overall, I mean, San Fran didn't pick until 61 in the second round. So they got some more defense. John Lynch loves getting guys on the line.
Mhm.
Anybody that can help, put pressure on the quarterback. We went cornerback just to get, some more depth in the secondary. And then the rest was offensive line. Got a running back, Shanahan's run scheme. Usually is geared towards developing, late round running backs and turning them into pretty good producers. So they got a running back. I'm pretty happy with it. I didn't expect much. It really didn't have a whole lot. Everything went into Trey Lance last year. So, that's really what our draft was about, was Trey Lance from last year.
Yeah.
Brock
Abs-
Purdy's going to be your starting quarterback by week 8, week 9.
You know, I do got to say real quick, there was one name that I thought was going to be called out, but wasn't. And that's a guy now named Hamilton. Last I saw he was on the cover of a $10 bill, Andre. So, so yeah, no,
Oh.
this is kind of, that's an inside joke. We had a bet about Debo Samuels getting traded, and that he wasn't, and so I get a fresh $10 bill from Andre for that. But that was really also a big win for San Francisco, was that Debo's not going anywhere as far as we can tell. There was no trade for him. There was offers, but they said, nah, it's not good enough. So as far as you can tell, Debo's a Niner, and we need him.
But how's that going to sit well with him? I mean, as far as him getting paid, I mean, do you think is there is he coming in still working on his, or you think they're going to, there's going to be a deal done by the before the
They
season
will
starts?
definitely make a deal. I think it's a lock. They will make a deal. There's no way he's going to be playing for $4 million. I think this season. I think it's what he's slated to get. No, he's going to get a deal. Now that AJ Brown got his deal, which was like $25 million a year, I think for 4 years or something like that, and I think they got the same agent. And then seeing everybody else's deal with Adams and Tyreek, Debo is going to be in between AJ Brown and Tyreek. That's like, I think the floor is going to be AJ Brown and Tyreek deal. I think he's the highest paid now, will be the top end. I don't think he'll get the top end because I think Tyreek's still a better receiver than Debo, but Debo will get a contract somewhere in between then, and they'll make amends and be happy and get on the field.
Interesting.
Or it'll fall apart and he'll sit out and be like, I'm not playing. And
So it could
it'll
go
be
way
dropped.
south or way north. I mean, yeah,
It'll be
it's no
it'll be
medium.
And
It'll
Mike,
be all drama, and it's all they'll talk about all season. And he's like, I don't care. I won't get paid. I don't care. I pay for this team. I hate them. I hate California. I want out of here.
Mike, what if
so
they
Mike,
franchise him?
do you think that they are thinking about 49ers when I say about getting Danny Gray in the third round? He's supposed to be a pretty good wide receiver from SMU. Ain't no Debo, I know that, but I'm just saying, like, are they thinking about the future not having Debo?
I think that was more about the guys behind Ayuk and Debo, so the number 3 receiver. I mean, we got a guy, Greg Jennings, who's pretty good, but
Yeah.
they don't have a bona fide like number 3 guy still. So I think that was what the intent of that pick was. And if I recall, I think Gray also was a good punt returner. So I think that's another thing. Special teams was a killer for San Francisco last year. We didn't really have good punt returns. We had good punt coverage. I mean, the kicker was probably the only thing that was good about special teams. So I think that was really where that pick came in to try to build on special teams.
Okay.
What if they franchise him? What happens there? You think if they franchise Debo, he's going to be happy? He's going to.
He'll be mad. I mean, he'll get paid, but he'll be mad about it. I think all these players get mad when they get franchised just because it kind of limits their opportunity to go around to other teams. But I mean, they get paid well because you get the average of the top 5, I think, people at your position. And now that the market's been reset for receiver, that's pretty good average.
Yep.
But I think he'll be mad about it. He's gonna be he'll be mad about it.
They can't franchise him until after this season, correct? If they
That's
can't
correct.
get it to, okay, all right, yeah. So,
he's under contract, his rookie contract. He really can't like just walk away from it. I mean, he wouldn't get paid. I mean, but he's stuck in that aspect of it. It's just you don't want the team just to be unhappy and unbalanced and have drama. So that's why they want to work out a deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a tough situation because you don't want to lose that player, but at the same time, you got to come to that agreement. It's all about business in the end, and it's hard to do that because look, everybody's in the business to make money, right? So it's balancing that. How much is the player worth to the team and business wise, and how much, when do you cut the cord, right? And say, okay, we just can't. Like this is enough. So it's a tough thing, and we'll see what happens and how this all plays out. Overall, guys, Dre, we'll get back to you here. Any team surprise you? Like who had, like, besides obviously we talked about the Eagles and 49ers, any team have like a really impressive draft that you were kind of like, wow, they actually did pretty good?
The Jets.
You think like the Jets? Okay.
The Jets. And I was when I answered the question wrong last week about I said the Jets are going to move up into the division and take the division. But this is not that, but I think the Jets had the best draft. What they got when they took Johnson, Wilson, and Gardner. I think cornerback, wide receiver, defensive end, and they're all top players coming out of the draft. I also want to piggyback on. I think the Jets were the only team, Mike, that were going to offer 49ers a good. With Debo, but that's what I saw in my resources.
The Jets had the best deal.
The best
Lions
deal.
Also offered a deal, but neither one of them was enough to give up.
Yeah,
it had to be a king's ransom, as they said, and the Jets weren't really offering that. They were a little below that, and I don't think there was ever any intention whatsoever to trade Debo. I don't care what offer showed up. I think John Lynch was just like, I don't really care.
Right.
I'm not trading the guy.
So the Jets, to answer your question, I think the Jets number 1, and then I'm only going to take one out of each one. And then the NFC, I would say Detroit Lions. I think Detroit Lions had a very good draft. They got some good picks. They moved up and stuff. So I think Detroit Lions are going to at least try to be a 500 team this year. So if they go over 500, that'd be impressive. But we'll see. I'm not counting everything on these rookie players, but it's definitely an improvement, especially for the Jets. So
okay, Jermaine, who you got, man?
The Jets. Yeah, definitely the Jets. I think the steal of the draft for the Jets is that running back, Breece Hall. I think they really hit home, and the way he dropped and all that stuff, because it wasn't a lot of running backs that came out during the draft. But I think Brees Hall, but yeah, definitely the Jets. I'm thinking the Giants.
Mm.
Thinking might have knocked it out of the park as well. I mean, picking up um, that edge rusher. I forgot his name already. So, but I think they did pretty good as far as okay. Well, we definitely had to reset. The last few years, especially started with drafting Daniel Jones in that high first round. I believe the Jets. I believe the Giants pretty much did. Had a pretty good draft. And then obviously, yeah, like I said, when I said on the podcast, I said watch out for Detroit. I'm not saying that they're going to be worse to first, but I think their only weakness is basically Jared Goff. They got a running game, they got a wide receivers. So but I guess you go back to what Sal said.
Nick
Everything
Foles
looks good on
available.
paper. Yeah, how about that? Nick Foles is available. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So, but yeah, those are my ones. But I think everybody pretty much fell into place. Besides the ones that had injuries, like the Jermaine, how the Jermaine actually fell into the Jets' lap and whatnot. So I think everything fell into place with the draft. I mean, it's really nothing shocking besides what obviously, we're all Philly fans. Besides Mike, he's like AJ
Mhm.
Brown. You know what I mean, and then pick up a defensive tackle. So yeah, I think everything, the whole draft overall, I thought was exciting because I watched it all the way to the end, pretty much. In and out. Yesterday, but pretty much I watched everything. So
Let me go get an AJ Brown jersey.
Mike, who you got? Who do you like?
So I do agree. I think the Giants did pretty well. I think they made picks that are going to have an impact next year once they get rid of Daniel Jones and really start trying to build the team with the quarterback that they want. But I thought they did well. Um, yeah, the Jets, with all the first round picks they got, and they were some pretty big names, and I thought overall they did okay. The team I think that did well, they really only had one pick, but I think it's going to turn into something special, is Pittsburgh. I think the
Oh.
quarterback
With the
they picked,
picket. Hmm.
I think that
Mhm.
might be the answer. Not saying he's going to be Ben Roethlisberger, but I think he's going to be good. And having a solid quarterback, especially for that team, and that team knows how to find receivers late in the draft. I mean, Pittsburgh's always been a wide receiver machine when it comes to drafting receivers. So I think Pittsburgh might have made out better than a lot of other
Hmm.
teams, just with one pick. I think that one pick might change that franchise for quite a while.
I like that's interesting. With Claypool, right? You have Claypool, wide
Yep.
receiver there.
they got a
Yeah,
good tight end,
they got a good tight end.
Washington,
Fairviews.
yeah, they
Yeah,
got the tight
Yeah,
end.
yup,
It
the
was
tight
James
end.
Washington, I think, is the other
Washington is a
receiver.
speedster. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Najee Harris, the running
Najee
back, is
Harris.
starting
Najee
to figure it out.
Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I,
then that defense was already pretty tough, and they added some more to that defense. Um,
the
so
the old line is kind of in question slightly a little bit. You know what I mean? So
yes,
yeah, so that old line, you know, you got until September to figure that out. Get like some type of
Mm.
stud player, not a stud player, but a complimentary player to try to beef up that offense. The offensive line. So
true. But
I
yeah, I think Pittsburgh did well.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they did. I mean, I pretty much had the same teams you guys did. I mean, the Giants obviously were up there, but I have one that actually we haven't talked about yet, who a lot of people gave an A plus, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. Believe it or not. So they
Yes,
had Trent McDuffie is a great pick. I mean, he was considered one of the best cornerbacks in the draft.
Hmm.
Byron Cook from Cincinnati, Sky Moore, and then they got this tackle, Kennard from Kentucky, who's supposed to be, really good too. So they got value, and I think that's what you hope for in the draft, that you get is value. And they definitely, to me, it was like a deep draft for them, and they're adding to what they already have. I mean, I know obviously, they lost a big piece of their team, but they have those pieces in place, and I think the Chiefs will continue probably to roll.
I
yeah,
don't know. Yeah, that's good. But they lost two key on both sides. Tyreek Hill and Matthews. So we're going to see how important those two players are for the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't.
Mhm.
I agree with you. They had a good draft, but again, you know how it is. There's there's some that are can start right away.
Mhm.
Some I'm saying rookies, they can start right away and be an impact. But I don't know. I think Kansas City and the blueprint's out already on Patrick Mahomes. So we'll see. We'll see how Kansas City adjusts without those two missing pieces.
Jermaine
Yeah.
loves Mahomes, man. I think I know that.
Love him,
I,
love him. I love him this year. Yep, I love him.
I was I was gonna say one thing about the draft and the teams that did well to some degree are the teams that didn't have picks. You know,
Mm,
Mhm.
I mean, Miami had to give up their first round to get their Tyreek Hill. Rams gave up their picks to get Matt Stafford, and that got them the Super Bowl last year. So
Raiders.
that
Mhm.
draft basically, this year they had no first round picks. Only they had a second round pick. Um, so you
Raiders.
got some teams that gave up their
mm.
first round pick. I think the Broncos didn't have a pick because they got rid of they got Russell Wilson. Um, so in some way, these teams did well in the draft just by not drafting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we
that's
didn't
all.
talk about the Ravens. From what Ravens was like good and bad. Like they lost Hollywood Marquise, right? They lost him,
Yeah,
and
or
then
trading them. Yeah,
or traded him, and it seemed like Arizona got the best part of that, the upside of that trade. But then I felt that Ravens didn't know what to do after that, and they were just reaching. But towards the end of the draft, they started getting a little bit diamonds in the rough, from what I saw.
well, surprisingly, a lot of the analysts and stuff say the Ravens
Y-
knocked it out the park. They're
Right?
saying it's one of the best drafts ever, and I'm just like,
Huh?
yeah, but yeah, I don't know who
Who you throwing it to?
Lamar's going to throw the ball to. I I don't see it. Maybe this is next year or down the line kind of draft, but I don't see it this year. I feel like this year is going to be a step back. I don't think the draft helped
Well,
them at all.
they got all those running backs, so I'm thinking they're just going to be a running team. That's all. They have Lamar, and then you getting all those healthy those backs that were injured last year. So I don't know who's going to stand out. On top of that, maybe this is going to pound the rock like 75-80% of the time. Who knows? You know what I mean?
Like I
Because
looked
all
at
you got is
okay,
Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
I looked at their roster last night, and I
Mm-hmm.
think for the receivers that are currently on their roster, I think in terms of years of experience, the most experienced guy has like I think 2 years of experience in the NFL. Uh, I don't know what Lamar's going to do. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I really don't.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, the analysts were saying that they took the best available player with is that the safety from Kyle Hamilton, and then they supposed to go get some that center,
Right.
Lindebaum,
Which they moved up. That's what
which
they
they
traded Hollywood Brown for.
right. So I'm not sure what they're seeing, but I don't know.
Mhm. Yeah.
Offensively or wide receiver wise, I think they're in trouble. So.
Yeah.
Well, let's
But
let's
yeah.
kind of
Oh,
transition to that.
okay.
I'm sorry. Go
Okay.
ahead, Mike.
No, go ahead. No, I was just gonna say, that this Ozzie Newsome, for years was a great GM, and they're saying Eric DeCosta who took over. They're giving them high raves, so they must know something we don't know. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a good transition because they must know something we don't know, right? So I'm looking at the teams, and we have to do this real quick because we got to move on. But
Okay.
teams that didn't do well in the first round. So surprisingly, New England Patriots, right? Like, I mean, but with the Patriots, I mean, you're talking what Tom Brady and what round again? So I mean, here we go. Like every time you think the Patriots, they look at the draft, and you're like, who the hell are these players? Like Strange in the first round, it was like a reach out of Chattanooga. You're like, what is going on? Like but they somehow find a way to make these players good. Is it the system? Do they know how to pick system players? Maybe, or are they just good? In Tom Brady's case, is probably a little bit of both. But real quick, Dre, team that flubbed. Who do you got?
Um, hmm. I thought the Texans when they moved up from
Mm-hmm.
the 44th overall, and they got this guy named John Mitchie the third.
Mm,
I don't think that. I think that was a reach, honestly. I mean,
mm-hmm.
he's recovering from a torn ACL, so
Yeah.
that he suffered. So I don't know, man. The Texans seem like they're just going to be stagnant based on that pick.
Okay.
I agree with you with the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I said Ravens. Who else?
Yeah. It's,
What's interesting? like Chicago. Chicago fired their GM, right? So,
Mm,
what Chicago's going to do, I don't know. So,
yeah. I don't think they know.
so, so
So,
that's what I got.
Jermaine, teams that flubbed. Who you got, man?
Uh, I'm thinking the Redskins. I mean, well, I'm sorry, the Commodores. I mean, the Commandos. Tony, you listening?
Commodores. You got
Yeah,
a brick house.
Yeah,
the
I
Commodores.
think I think they might have whiffed on some stuff. I don't really see them being what Tony was saying last week. The dominant 1-2 racehorse in the division. So yeah, they really didn't surprise me in doing anything besides. Who I don't know what this Dotson is. You know what I mean? So um, McLaurin wanted help and
It's a
stuff.
lemon
So
car. That's what a Dotson.
yeah,
I'm just joking. Dotson's
yeah.
actually
So,
good.
but yeah, that's that. I think that's my team that kind of flopped. So
Mhm. All right, Mike,
Mm.
what do you got, bud?
Uh, I guess New England to a degree. They picked a quarterback, which they got Mac Jones last year, and then they went and got a guy in the third round. It's like, what's the story about that? So I don't understand them, and I think the Seattle Sea Chickens. I'm not sure. I don't think they did too well, especially losing Russell Wilson, and it didn't really seem like they did much to address losing Russell Wilson.
Mhm.
And maybe there's still a Baker Mayfield trade that's in the works or something like that. But what they have currently, I don't see how they're going to be really that competitive. So yeah, I say the Sea Chickens also.
The Cleveland Butchers. So yeah.
This is for you, Jermaine.
what's that? I can't really hear. Oh, I got it. I hear it.
You and your Washington Commodores. All right.
wherever Baker Mayfield goes, at one point, Mike, when you was mentioning Pittsburgh, and I was like, well, maybe he can be in Pittsburgh with Pickett. I mean, Les Pickett is starting. Well, he is starting, right? I mean, that's all they. Right, Pickett's starting, right?
I don't
He's
know.
got to compete
He's
with
going to
Mitch,
compete. Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky. So he's
Oh,
got to compete.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
So it's not locked yet.
So
But
okay, so then Baker don't go there because they got
Well,
Trubisky. But
I told Dre the other day. I said, you know what? If Cleveland was smart, because this Watson's going to get suspended. You keep Baker Mayfield on the roster. Let him play the 4 or 5 games that you know what I mean? Because you're going to need him. You know what I mean? If you want to be, you want to so-called compete. And then when Deshaun Watson comes back, then you trade him.
yeah,
Man. All right.
use them, yeah, till the guy's ready.
Oh my God. All right, well, awesome, guys. Great analysis there. And actually, it's good timing here. We'll turn it over to Mike. I understand you got a few things you're going to run us through today. What do you got?
all right, so I got 2 little mini games. And you guys kind of talked a little bit about one of them to a degree. So I guess I'll start with that one. So the first one is called Now What? Like, now what? So Baker Mayfield, didn't get picked up in the draft. Everyone thought Carolina was a play, and he didn't move anywhere. So now what? Guys, chime in. Each one of you can chime in, say what you think.
Well,
think
I would say, yeah, you're in your refrigerator and like it's that food you like, but you don't like, kind of move it to the side. Then the next day you come in, maybe you move it over there. You don't know what to do with them. You might take them later. I don't know what to do with. I don't know if any 31 teams, because you can't say Cleveland, will what to do with them now. Yeah, now what? Like I don't know, man. Just keep moving them to the side in the refrigerator. I don't know.
what
Yeah,
you do with
keep-
them is you put a hat over them and you hide them like Dre's shine. And you
Yeah,
Like the
I'm
Souls
sticking
way.
to my guns to saying, hey, keep him on the roster until Deshaun Watson comes back from suspension. and then then try to trade him. So because he has to play. I mean, if he wants to go somewhere, it's not like he could just sit and flop and throw interceptions and all that stuff. You got to go out there and compete. You know what I mean, to bring your value up, and so whoever can see you, can see you or whatever. But I think now what is basically the commercials, because I was in love with the commercials. Now what? You know what I mean? What are they doing? What are they going to do?
Yeah.
Now thinking about it, it might be Chicago. Nick Foles is gone.
No, they got Justin Fields, man.
They got some Fields.
Oh,
Yeah,
I forgot
they got
about
Justin
Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Well, backup Baker backup, whatever you want to call him.
Backup Baker. So Eagles bring back Foles, guys. Now what? No. Okay. Anyway, sorry, Mike. It's another now what.
I got you.
I'll talk to you in a second about that.
All right, I got another now what. Jalen Reagor. Now what?
Oh God.
Jermaine or Sal, answer that first.
Go ahead, Jermaine. I'll give you that one.
Yeah. Nothing I can really say about Jalen Reagor, but besides just pack his bags and just put him on his merry way. That's all. Just get like a seventh, get like an eighth round, get like an eighth rounder with him and whatnot, and you'll be fine.
Rounder.
There just comes a point where you just got to cut ties and just say, all right, we screwed up with that pick, man. Like it's not happening. They're not going to get anything for him. I don't even think they get a bag of footballs for him at this point, and he has to get to the point where he's got to get his confidence. He just has to say to himself, look, I'm a first round pick and I got to be better. And I don't think he's there mentally or physically. So
wait, wasn't he the one that missed that catch, and the guy from Philly who had there was a fire and he just trying to catch some babies out of the window, and he said, was that Reagor that you were talking about?
Nah, Nelson Aguilar.
Oh, that was Nelson Aguilar. Anyway, Look, I don't, now what? Like y'all said, man, just put him in the practice squad. I don't know.
Yeah. Man.
He's getting cut. All right, I got another good one.
Okay.
Joel Embiid and the Sixers.
Oh, okay.
All right, guys, watch the time. That's all I'm gonna say, because this one could go on a while.
Patch his eye up and keep it moving. That's all. You know what I mean? He can play with one eye, like Dre said, because he's like, oh, he'll be back. Let's put the patch one eye up. You know
That's what I said.
Yeah. Or just keep his eye closed. You know what I mean? Like he's winking and whatnot. You know, and you'll be all right. Yeah. Come on, man.
Yeah, just
man up.
Now what? Now what? Just stay in the paint. Don't go out there and try to defend that guy from Atlanta that made your eyeball, pushed you up. Just stay in the paint. Wait till Harden give you the ball and just make some baskets by bouncing off the backboard. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. Now what? Center by committee. That's now what? Because that's what it's going to be.
It's a perfect one, Sal. Jesus.
Yeah, man.
Help us. Yeah, you're right.
Because we don't know who the hell they're going to play, because it's going to just be a rotation. And
Paul Millsap, MVP.
God. Yeah.
That's sad.
So I got one more now. What?
Yep.
And I'll do my other game real quick.
Okay.
Ben Simmons.
I say it real quick, man. Enough said. All right, just get rid of the mental basket case. Just everybody knows he's got mental problems. Go away. Goodbye. You're out of the NBA.
Yeah, it's nothing to be said with Ben. I mean, now you know what it is. It is what it is. You know what I mean? So the Nets are just freaking out and whatnot. So, yep.
Do they have a state home for crybabies? Because that's what that's what he is, man. Like, it's just, I don't get it. Like, get in there, play. Like you said before, Jermaine, put the big boy pants on. Get in there and just play.
You don't
now
get
you
it.
know he has dependables on. You know he has dependables. You know what I mean?
You don't get it because you don't have a mental problem. Well, maybe, but
look who's talking.
Hey, I'm fine. Crazy people always say
those are the ones.
No, the crazy people are the ones that always. No, not denial. We're the ones that are right.
The first step is admitting you have a problem.
Right.
Oh man! All right, Mike. What else
Next,
you got?
come on.
All right, so real quick. So just go summing up the draft real quick. So I had a game. So you can be the real deal, which means that the guy was picked and he is the real deal at the position he was picked at. You
Woo!
got a real steal, which is someone that
Oh,
actually
I
got
like it.
drafted later that probably could have gone earlier, or a really I don't know. Just the pick's not what you think it was. So I'm gonna go with this first one, Sauce Gardner, who went to the Jets, number 4. What do you think?
That's the real deal, Dre. That's the real deal right there. You know
I
what I mean?
agree.
So that's
I
the
agree.
real deal right there.
Mhm.
That's
Alright.
my opinion. I think the man is going to be. Yeah, he's going. I think he's going to be. He's going to be something. He's going to be something. So
Yep. Jets, Jets.
Real deal. Agree.
Yep.
That's funny. Actually, I think it's a really I don't know.
Mm.
Really? All right.
Yeah,
woo.
yeah.
What concerns you,
Okay.
Mike?
Well, so look, I mean, one, the kid's got a lot of swag, which is good, but I
Yeah.
think to some degree he's always been better than everybody else on the field, and the NFL has a way of humbling people.
Oh yeah.
And I think going number 4 with that fan base, because the Jets, are pretty brutal, and I think their expectation he's going to come in and be like Revis Island from the start, and I don't think he's going to be that way. I don't think the rules in the game allow you to be that way. I think there's not really much of a shutdown cornerback anymore, and so I think the expectations are going to be too high for this kid. I don't think he's going to be a bust, but I just don't think he's going to live up to being the number 4 pick, especially not in that fan base.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
All
Yeah,
right.
especially that fan base, New York Jets. Yeah, I mean that first touchdown he gives up. Oh man.
I mean, Tyreek Hill is looking at him like, yeah, kid, I'm going to school you. I got to teach you something. It's coming, and it's going to happen. I mean,
Licking his chops.
Jalen Ramsey is probably the best cornerback in the NFL, and he still gives up 60% completions. It's just he don't give up the big play,
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you can't shut nobody down. You can't touch guys, so it's hard to do. And Gardner is one of those hands-on kind of guys. I can see him getting penalties and stuff like that, just being aggressive. That's my opinion. That's just based off of 5 minutes of watching them. But I think I think it's I don't know for me.
Gardner was the one that gave up 0 touchdowns in
Correct.
his college career. So there you go.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. He's always been great. And the NFL has a way of taking players like that and just bringing them down a notch. And if you never faced adversity before, how's the kid going to react to it? And then how's the team and the media going to react to it? Because New York is brutal.
No, right.
On a sucky team, you can adjust and not get scrutinized, but New York, he'll be in the headlines the minute he gets burned. Kid gets burned by Hill. What do we get for number 4? I think it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Well, ask any Heisman Trophy winner, right? Because don't they have a history of just, doing really well and then all of a sudden falling off the face of the earth when they get to the NFL, right?
That's correct.
Yep. So let me do my next one real quick.
Yep.
Kayvon Thibodeau, that's the guy from the Giants that you were talking about, Jermaine. He went number 5.
Yeah, I love his energy. You know what I mean? He came out the block. He's like, look, this is what it's going to be. I think he's also going to be the real deal. I mean, I think he's just going to bring a whole ton of energy to that defense, which the Giants defense is lacking and whatnot. So he may be bringing that whole energy to the locker room. I'm not saying he's a Ray Lewis style and all that stuff, but the energy, I really like his energy.
He's got a motor for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I say real deal.
Yeah, I say real deal. I think he's going to have to be a player that offenses are going to have to game plan for.
Real deal.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Davis, who Eagles moved up from 15 to 13 to get.
He has upside, Mike. He has upside. Hopefully, instead of being a run stuffer, because this is a pass happy league. He's a run stuffer. Hopefully that upside. What was the middle one you said? The real deal. What was the next one?
A real steal, which means that you got him. He probably could have gone higher. I don't think so.
No, I don't think. No.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't think he's a real deal. He's not a real steal. So yeah, I had to put him on that third tier with what you were saying. So like I said, if he gets that pass rush and they try to compare him to Halani Noda. What's the Fred Flintstone guy that played on Tony Saragusa?
Fred Flintstone guy.
So, I like that.
No, yeah, you look at it, he did look like Fred Flintstone,
From the Ravens.
Yeah. So they're comparing it to him. I mean, and he's a lot bigger than them. So yeah,
Well,
it remains to be seen. Huh?
Well, yabba
What'd you say?
Dabba do.
We got time for one more. Or
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Okay. Let's say Jahan Dotson, who the Washington Commanders or Commandos, Commodores, moved down from 11 to 16 to get.
That was a pick of boogered steal. I'm sorry, bad pick. Just
I don't know. You think I don't
yeah,
know?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, Mike. I have no idea. Who knows? And that's something that remains to be seen.
I think Tony's going to be disappointed again.
Yeah, you got to get Tony. You got to get Tony's perspective on that. Who knows? Because they could have had Kyler Hamilton. Correct.
Yeah,
they could have had Colin Hamilton.
Yeah,
he got
So
I'm in between a real deal or a real steal.
Oh.
I think Washington, they were able to move down, so save a couple dollars, still get a need, which was a receiver to complement McLaurin. That I'm not saying the guy's gonna be lights out, but I think it will help them immensely on that team, especially for that offense, especially for Carson Wentz, who's gonna need a lot of support. So I think that might work out for them.
Well, they drafted another quarterback, didn't they, Mike? Too. I mean, now
they did.
How did Carson Wentz feel about that? And they talking, and the guy's talking about, I'm coming in here and I'm competing. You know what I mean? That's what I want.
You want to talk about a baby? You want to talk about a baby?
But they took the third. I think that was a third round pick for a quarterback. So I think that's kind of we'll take a guy because he's best available, but I don't really think he's expected to challenge Carson Wentz, at least not the first year. Not unless he comes in like Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
What's the other guy that Russell Wilson beat Matt
Castle?
I can't Matt Castle.
Hasselbeck, right?
Maybe it was Matt Castle. I thought it was Hasselbeck. But at the time it looked like, the guy they got was going to be the starter, and Russell Wilson came in and just looked like a lot better, and he was the starter. I don't see that happening in Washington.
I give it a week 8, week 9. Once he starts sailing those interceptions and all that stuff, pick 6,
interception. He's gonna get pancaked by Jordan Davis, 348 pounds laying on him.
House.
So
he's gonna see a lot of Jordan Davis.
So I got a couple more, but I know we're running short on time, so I'll just do one more. Jermaine Davis, who was picked by the Jets, number 26. He's a DN edge rusher, and he fell. So what do you think? Because he was expected to go higher.
Steal.
Definitely a steal.
Yeah. Steal.
Yeah.
That was a good steal.
Yeah.
If Dre's right. Dre's right. The Jets had the best draft in the whole entire draft. I believe A+.
Yep.
So
and
that was fast.
You know who the Jets GM is?
Joe Douglas. Yeah.
Who used to? What year did he GM the Eagles? And what year did the Eagles win the Super Bowl? When Joe Douglas was the guy.
Yeah. All right.
Well, guys, as always, it's been a pleasure, and a great show, and we'll see everybody in 2 weeks. And actually, I don't know. We have to talk about what we want to do next show. Probably NBA playoff time, right? We'll probably be wrapping.
Yeah, we're deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, we'll be deep in the playoffs. And maybe we'll do some baseball. We haven't hit up baseball at all.
Sixers might be swept by then.
Yeah, right.
Swept by this week. What are you talking about?
I said by the time we get on, they're gonna be swept.
If they do, man, that's enough said right there.
And why was he even on the field? That's his real fact. Why was he even on the court with 3 minutes left? You're up by 30. Why was he? That's all. That's all I have to say. I'm done.
Doc Rivers. Woo!
Bring in Jay Wright. That's all I'm saying.
Jay Wright, baby.
Jay is available. All right, guys. As always, great talking to you. We will see you in 2 weeks.
All right, peace, guys. Later.
See you.
All right.
Yep.